Welcome everybody to Catfish Weekly, along with Chad Fields and Josh Dunnigan. I'm Lyle Stokes, and boys, we're going to talk about bait tanks tonight. What do you think about that?
I like bait and I like tanks. Put them together, just make an awesome bait tank.
I got one. What's that, Josh?
I said tanks are always cool. I mean,
Anything to do with tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me run through one tournament result I have from the Indiana Catfish Association that was sent to me by Mr. Brad Becks. First place was Tim Methersmith and Justin Newby, 61.48 pounds. This was 5 flatheads caught in this tournament, and Big Fish was a flathead. Second place was Mike and Althena Goodman, 54.43 pounds. They also had Big Fish of 41.43 pounds. Third place was Corey Peterson and Jeff Mitchener, 41.62 pounds. Fourth place, Craig Katie White, 41.29 pounds. And fifth place was David Lockridge and Craig Stockton Pope, 35.11 pounds. That pretty nice flathead, 41.43 pounds. I kind of like that.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, any day.
Any time out.
In a 3-fish tournament, I'd take 3 like that and think I was in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just got a message from a gentleman says if you don't have a hot tub to tank your fish in, you ain't got, you know what I mean. I'll let you guess where that come from, boys.
Well, there's only one person in the world that I know uses hot tubs. I should say functional hot tubs.
There's only one guy that I know of that can get away with that.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? Wrong. It ain't going to happen in my house.
No, not at all.
Well, some of us aren't rich enough to own a big hot tub, so.
Yeah, I don't have one.
That's right.
Yeah, you got to have that Dockery money for that.
That's right. I wish I had some.
You know, this subject come up about these tanks, and bait tanks include stuff that you have at the house, stuff that you keep in your boat, stuff that you use to transport bait from when you catch it to your house or to your boat. And this come up here a while back while I was watching a video that a guy made, and he had one in his boat that I had never seen. So I messaged him, and he said it was a prototype that he was testing for a company. And then I contacted you, Chad, because when we was in Wisconsin, I seen that you had one and asked you about it. And I knew then we was going to have to do something with this subject. But I am in the process now of building one out of a cooler that we've had laying around that I used to set on to wash the dog. It's not being used. It might as well be utilized into a bait tank. And after
seeing, big enough?
Pardon me?
Is it big? Is it going to be big enough?
It holds my big ass. I guess it will.
Well, I'm just talking about height-wise. If you're sitting on it, I didn't know if it was very tall.
It's tall enough. I can still look over top of Dockery's head. But yeah, the idea is I want it to, when we go out to the creeks around here and I go catch bluegill or something, to get it from that point, because I keep bluegill and stuff in my live well for long periods of time. It's a big live well, holds a lot of water, and all you got to do is change the water once in a while and give them something to eat once in a while, and you're good to go. It's aerated. It even has oxygen bottle on it if need be. So circulation pump and all that. Water moves all the time, and you just leave it hooked up to the battery charger, and it goes forever. So that's how I do mine. But after seeing yours, Chad, I knew I was either going to buy one or make one. And when I seen remember the size of yours, and this one is probably a little taller.
Yeah.
But I've got it. We're not using it. It might as well be turned into something useful. So a bait tank it is. And that's what we'll use to haul bluegill and stuff from point A to point B. Now, as far as Shad, I'm not worried about getting them. If I catch them, I'll just throw them on ice because you can keep them alive but I haven't found where it's a lot more different. Now, bluegill, if you keep them alive, I think they bleed more when you cut into them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's important to me. That I think that was a high part of our success this year at Wisconsin, because every fish we caught and we cut open to use for bait was live when it was cut up there, not not frozen or anything like that. And like I say, we caught lots and lots of fish. They wasn't giants like we thought we would get, but numbers keeps you busy, makes me happy.
Heck yeah.
So I'm good with that. But I think bluegill work better if they're cut open alive. I'm not so sure it matters with shad or skipjack or moon eye as far as that goes. But um, if I get a build a bait tank for the boat that's strictly for bait, or the one that I have in there plumbed up now that I haven't had a chance to use, if that works to keep shad and moon eye and stuff alive, then we'll do a video about that. We'll talk about it on the show, because it'll be a circulation circle thing, and what it is a 10-gallon uh, uh, bucket that you buy pool supplies in, and it's hooked up to. I had a front bait well in this boat, and it was too small. It was made for minnows because it was originally made for walleye fishermen. But I put this bigger one in it, and if I can keep that stuff alive during the day, I'm going to do it. But if I can't, I'll just put them on ice. Does any of that make sense to anybody?
Now, can you repeat it all?
No.
Okay.
I forgot, Chad. We need to say hello to all the people
We,
in chat. I forgot. I got to going and
he was like, you was on a roll. I was like, let it go. All right,
well,
let's say hi to
let's do that.
our friends out here in Chatland. I don't see the first and second people there, Lyle. You said there was Jody and somebody else that was in here
Mr.
first.
Kitty Whiskers.
Mr. Kitty Whiskers. All
He
right.
was first, yeah.
All right. We got avid fisherman Mike Sampson, Jason Lamb, Kevin Fishes, Teresa. I'm sorry. Yeah. Tessa Strauss. Okay, I can do that now. Mr. Mike Irvin. We got Carolina Catfish, Brian B. Catfishing, Pontoon Jody, Mike, blah, blah, blah. I can't talk tonight, apparently. Mark from Catfish and Crafty, Valerie Irwin, and it just jumped on me. There it goes. John, I'm going to butcher this one. Wushurek. I don't know if I even came close on that one. We got Big Wrench Catfishing, Chris Everett, Sherman Tomlinson, Bumpin' Mike Greenwell, Big Bill's Veteran Catfishing. Hope you're having a good vacation, my friend. Ben Seeker TV, Muskrat Adventures, Gene Tillman, Trophy Seeker Outdoors, Fishing with Big Mike, James from Patriot Catfishers of America. Good evening, James. Elgato Azul, 922 Crappie Barbecue, Dale Hayslett. Scrolling. They need to fix this YouTube or the StreamYard thing where it flashes. We got Miss Cindy Stokes, Mr. Maurice Cason, Mr. Paul Meadow Cats, Troy from Real and Virtual Outdoors, Twisted Fishing TV. Let's see, scrolling a little bit more here. We got Sean T Outdoors, LG Bass.
Did you get V3 Customs Kentucky?
I have not gotten V3 yet. There's Sunny
you get
Cat Maverick Parker.
That was next. Fin Seeker TV.
Yep. Merrimack Cats, Creole Catfishing, Lance McCoo Guy.
Art from the 1 Ton Fishing Club.
If you had done that one more time, I was going to say stop barking. We got Kenneth from Takedown Catfishing. What's up, buddy? I think I'm getting down here towards the bottom. I'm caught up with you now. We got David Smith. Crappie Dave Fish on. And I am now to the bottom. Mr. Tully 41's the last one I see. If I missed anybody, I apologize, and Lyle will correct me
if I get a chance. But
if he gets
you
a
know,
chance.
yeah. I think Sonny is in here, and he says he used a large cooler with plexiglass in the corners so it creates a circle, and that is important because especially shad will
Mm-hmm.
go in the corner and just sit there and bang their nose into it until it turns red and almost bleeds, or it may bleed. That just, their brain's about half the size of your little pinky fingernail. I mean, they're just dumber than a stump. Uh, you don't see bluegill or bass or any other thing that we ought to be allowed to use for bait going to the corner, just sitting there running their nose in the corner. But shad do it all the time. They're just dumber than hell, but they can't help themselves. It's just the way it is. One thing that will help them. Thank you, Creole. Thank you so much. We appreciate that and want to thank everybody while we're on that for helping us make our 1,000 gold. We made it over the weekend, and now if I can just get um, AdSense to be kind enough to me to approve everything. I put it in 3 times so far, and they've turned me down every time. So we'll see how that works out.
I wish
But
you all the luck.
yeah, well, I messed it up the first time, but I've corrected it, and they're just not accepting it. But that's okay. But yeah, they're shad are not real smart fish. They're real smelly. They're real oily. They make great bait. So if you can keep them alive, the best way to do that, Sonny, is correct, is to have them in a circle with a small amount of current or water flow for them to run into. But they will, if they get a chance to go in a corner, they'll sit there and just bait themselves to death.
It is important that everybody knows he said shad, not Chad, when he was talking about dumb, ugly, and smelly. So want to make sure we get that out there for.
I don't know. I heard something different, but my phone was doing the robot voice thing at the time, so I
Oh
could have been
man,
mistaken.
yeah. Well, you might have been. But Chad, tell us about the little carrying tank that
Yeah.
you.
Well, I mean, I've used different ones over the years. Even just using buckets with one of them the bubble boxes on the side of it. But I wanted something, with the heat, and I know Lyle knows all about the heat right now.
Oh
When
boy.
you have that water in there, if you put some cooler water, you want it to kind of stay there, and that's what I liked about this one, is it's actually insulated, so it keeps the water cooler as it bubbles. Oh, let me see this big bad boy. Here, if I can figure out where my mouse is.
Here, let me give you full screen.
I got it. There we go. So down at the bait shop, they make these. For Bill makes them. They've got, this is an Engel live bait cooler. It's a 30 quart, fairly big.
Thank you, Crappie Dave Fish On. Appreciate it.
You got the bubbler and stuff on the side of it. I like that it latches, so it doesn't spill anywhere.
Is it got a seal under the lid?
It does. So it's got a nice seal that goes. There's a lip here, and then it goes up into here where it seals it really nice. The other thing that I liked about it is the basket. This thing's dirty as can be, but I use it. But being able to pull those up out of the water, grab what you need, and put the fish back in there, and we're good to go.
How many can you keep in there alive safely?
Oh, that's a good question. I know I've had about, I don't know, it was a dozen or 15 of them for about 24 hours, and they were still doing just fine. So,
Wow.
the bubbler on it has 2 different speeds. It's got a slower, and a slower pulsating, and then it's got the higher pulsating. So it puts out a lot more oxygen. So seemed to do pretty well. And if you want, you could always redo the water every 8 to 12 hours or something like that, and you'd be just
Right.
perfectly fine.
Now, what kind of air stone does it have in it?
This one's just one of the little round aerators or stones. get it up there. Yeah, it's just one of the normal little air. I don't know if I can get back up there,
Just a little
Rob.
round ball.
Yeah, just a little round ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all it is. And it's not a lot of water, so
No, that'd probably be enough if you didn't put too many fish in there.
yeah. I mean, I know I have a short out there that had quite a few, but it was literally a 10-minute drive from the pond to my buddy's house where we split them up, and I think we kept about 15 each that day, and I kept them until the following night. So
Wow, that's pretty good. Before we get too far along, I would like to let everybody know that we had a little boat trouble the other day. Got it fixed now, though. Bad connection on a Perco switch, if you know what that is. Had to pull it out to fix it, which I was not able to do at the boat ramp. But Valerie Irwin won a prize that I had donated to that tournament. Valerie lives across the pond, and she asked me to send it to Ricky Gloria, which is um, I'm looking here, Texas Solo Texan Adventures, and it went out to him today. And Ricky, I just want you to know that not only did you get the box of jigs and stuff that was donated, I grabbed a handful and threw it in there with them. So you got a few extras. So enjoy those, and congratulations on winning that. And it is on the way, left out of the mailbox this afternoon.
thanks. Congrats,
So
Rick.
now, Chad, do you keep any? Is that all you keep in your boat when you're out, or do you have something to transfer bait into that?
Normally, I'll take this down to the ponds when there's a pond that I go down and get bluegill at now. Thanks to my buddy I won't tell a secret spot, but he told me, and we'll keep it at that. But it's more of being able to park up in a parking lot and carry it down instead of carrying a 5-gallon bucket that you drop it and it falls over, and then you're scrounging to get all your fish and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And get water in.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I have this for. And then obviously up at places like Mendota, when you go into a bait shop, we buying suckers and stuff up there like that to keep them alive. Now, if we don't do that, and I've had one for years back here that I've never done anything, but my buddy Bill, I was going to try to get it, and then we got these storms rolling through. One of those, like the Coke and Pepsi coolers that they have they're on rollers.
Mm-hmm.
He had gotten one of them and made it, and he uses it on his pontoon and in the back of the truck. So if we go on bait runs down to other places, we can throw the bait up in that and keep it for, when we're fishing for more bait. So
Okay, very good, Valerie. I'm sorry I misunderstood. I thought you was from over across the water, but regardless, it was very kind of you to donate those to Ricky, and they are on their way to his house. And Ricky, you are very welcome. That sounds like a pretty cool deal. The last time I had a bait tank like that rolled around on wheels, we was at the Cat's Incredible tournament up in uh, Grand Forks, and I didn't have a way. That's how you had to get your fish from the boat. You had to get in line, take them up through their very poor setup they had that particular year. So I had to go out and buy a cooler just to haul fish up there in.
really,
Yeah, and then we left it sitting there because we got to eating and doing things and let it sit by the fence. $30-some is. I called a guy up and said, "Hey, I left it sitting there. Enjoy, because I'm 6 hours down the road." So it is what it is.
heck yeah.
Go just a second. Nope, a different one. I got a package of jigs here that's supposed to go to John Boy's Catfishing. I never got an address. The only reason that I know that it goes to John Boy's Catfishing is because I wrote his name on the header of this. And usually, if you don't claim them within a week, we give them away again. But since it has his name on it,
I got it.
go ahead and send me his address. I will get that to him because he won them.
If not, I do believe I'll check after the show, Lyle. I'm pretty certain I have John Boy's.
Okay. All right. It has nothing to do with this show, but
That's okay.
I just happened to look down and see it, and I thought, well, we'll take care of that right now because I'm going to do it again Thursday if I don't find out where it goes.
I I get you.
Okay. Now, Josh, how do you keep your bait alive?
Well, when I'm fishing, to and from the house, a lot of the time I'll use a 5-gallon bucket. I throw a Gamma seal on that, which is one of those screw-on lids. They're watertight, so once you put that in there, that you throw it in the bed of the truck, it's not going to spill everywhere and kill your fish. But I put one of those little bubble boxes on the side, and it's usually enough to get me home. And then once I get here, I've got a holding tank that usually I try not to go more than 3 or 4 days in this tank. But you and I were talking right before the show tonight. When I was draining this down this evening so I could kind of show this tank, I found a bluegill in there alive that has been there for every bit of 2 months at this point. So let me get the phone moved here, and we will go over and take a look at that. Oh, there we go. Camera settings changed. All right, there we go.
I remember you did a video on making that.
I have a video on making this. This started out as a Pepsi cooler here.
That's exactly kind of what I was talking about before, Just. My buddy Bill has.
Yep. Turn that off for a second because it's noisy. But I've got two about 8 or 10 inch air stones down there. A little, it's hard to see. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Little pond pump from Harbor Freight. There's even a bluegill floating around in here somewhere. Let's see. And he's going to want to hide it. But that pumps up to a piece of PVC pipe that I drilled some holes in. Watch me drop my phone in the bait tank.
Well, you won't need a GPS to find that if that happens.
That's true.
You'll probably still leave it in there a week.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about having Samsung. You have that option.
That's true.
Come here. Hey, he's fast. All right, we'll leave him alone.
He's been in there 2 months and he's that fast. He's in pretty good shape.
Doing all right.
So that's turned on. You've got your water recirculating plus plenty of bubbles down there.
I like those stones pretty well. I've used those for a long time. The round ones I really like. They seem to put out a lot of air.
The pucks.
But they plug up, and once they plug up, I can't get them unplugged, whatever reason. So
I bought 2 of those. Do what, Jeff?
Usually soak them in vinegar.
Well, I've done that, and peroxide, and
they still won't go.
Can't blow air through them with an air compressor.
Now that ain't good.
Yeah, so I threw 2 of them away. But I like the ones I had suction cups on the back of it, and you could put it on the side of your tank, and it was almost like a circulation deal. Not quite, but close.
I bought 2 of them a couple months ago down at one of the local bake shops, and I was going to use it for my tournament live well, but have not done that update yet.
Yeah, these what I've used mine for, but like I say, they're old though. I mean, I'm not complaining. They give good service. I just can't find any of them at a reasonable price to replace them with right now, except on Amazon. They do have them there.
We kind of luck out. We've got a pet shop right down the road, and they're cheap on their air stones. So they're high on everything else, but they're cheap on air stones.
Try CLR when they plug up. It usually works.
Good idea.
What is CLR?
Calcium, lime, and rust remover.
How do you? Is it just liquid or?
It's a liquid. You can soak it in there.
Okay. Never thought of that. Hope I got one left I didn't throw away.
See how once you put your shower head in, when the calcium builds up in it, makes it spray funny.
Okay. I'll check into that because I like the round ones, but I've been using them odd shaped ones for a long time with good success.
Those must be working if he's still alive. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the other. You got that tank that you got built there, and I know I've seen ones like at Mark's got, and I actually have one of the big 200 and was it 250, 275 gallon. Use it for whatever liquids. What'd you say?
He said Josh forgot to bring him a Pepsi cooler.
I've got another one of those Pepsi coolers. I offered it to Parker, and I forgot to bring it down to pool party.
I was thinking them was probably pretty hard to come by.
Yeah, you don't find them very often. When you do, everybody seems to want a pretty penny for them. But
really,
how much? I got a Coca-Cola one that's out here in the back room.
Check out Facebook Marketplace, see what they're bringing in your area. They seem like they're always on there, but people pay way too much money for them.
That's why they're high, because they can get them.
I got mine
double hook angling
for free. Dad's work was going to throw them away, so.
Daggone, that'd be awesome though. But do you find like kind of what I'm talking about with the carry one that I have? Those have that foam insulation that maybe does that help? You think keep the water cooler?
Oh yeah, because I mean we're we've been in that heat wave same as everybody else, and you can put your hand. I keep that back there in the corner of the garage so it's not sitting out in the sun, and that water in there is always pretty cool. It's definitely cooler than the air temperature. So
it'd have to be, since mine is it was 98 again today here.
I hate that, but if there was anybody who was going to get it, I'd rather be you than me.
I appreciate that. Well, I would too. I would too, except it makes Katie mad. She beats old Dockery with a hammer, and well, hell, there ain't nothing wrong with that either. Oh man,
we've had pretty good luck with that tank. I went the week before we went to Mendota this year. 2 or 3 days in that week, I went out catch a bluegill. That way we'd have bait when we went to Mendota. And I think at one point we had 50 some odd bluegills alive and going crazy in that tank.
Wow.
We lost one. Every single one of them was alive when I put them on ice to go up to take the drive up to Madison. So.
Yeah, they were some nice sized bluegill too. I remember them well because.
Yeah, you took about a dozen of them, I think.
Ended up asking for about, I was like, can I have one or two? And you're like, here, take a dozen of them. I'm like, okay, I ain't going to argue with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we took up a bunch with us, and it was just about the right amount. We didn't have a lot of extras. We got some from Richard, I believe. He gave me a handful of them for the last day or so, and we had like 2 or 3 left over at the end of the whole thing, but we went through a lot of bait.
Oh, yeah. Well, you was catching 30 fish a day or more.
We was catching a lot, and it was so much fun. And I, again, the other day, went through all the videos. I have 2 of these Post-it notes with the clips from all of the video that we shot, 2 of them. And there's either a piece of the awning from our deal over half of the camera lens where you can't see but part of it, or one of us is standing in front of the deal where you can we're trying to net the fish and you're on the wrong side of it should have been on the outside and to the inside. The net guy is in the way trying to pull it. There's something wrong with every bit of it. Some of it is just audio, and I'll leave that at that. But it was good. We had a great time. We caught a lot of fish, and there's 2 things that I have attributed, and I've said this before, to this whole trip to. One of them was keeping the bait alive and using fresh live cut bait, and the other thing was the bobbers, suspending it off the bottom where they didn't have to go down through that, because that's a swamp. It's just muck
Oh
on the
yeah.
bottom. And if you can keep that bait off of that muck, I think it worked better for us. I think we had caught more fish this year than we ever caught before. Maybe not, but it sure seemed like it. I'll be doing it again that way next time.
I
I
had
mean,
bobbers and never did use them. I wish I'd have used them while I was up.
I thought the same thing because, how many times did we come up and we were, 30, 40 yards from you, if that. And
Yeah.
we would catch a fish here and there, but it was like we were using the same baits.
Yep.
And then we even had the suckers on top of that. And it
Good
was like,
bait there.
yeah, we were catching fish, but nothing to the amount, that you were until
Well,
we
you
went
sat
out.
there and watched us.
Yeah, we sat there and we got enjoyment. I've got some video of that as well, of Lyle and Cindy on a triple.
Yeah,
But,
thank you so much, Freddie. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Freddie.
Ready?
But yeah, until we went out and started dragging baits with, the crosses and
I love
and
dragging
little
bait.
mean Dunnigan, the Dockery's twin, Caitlin.
Caitlin loves old James. But for those who don't know, Freddie's Outdoor Adventures, Freddie is the co-host on the Bait Shop on Thursday nights. So be sure to tune in and check Chad and Freddie out. You'll enjoy it.
Really appreciate it. But yeah, that's definitely something we would have should have considered. We had them, just didn't use them.
I have some bobbers set up on some Eglass blanks or rods that have been built specifically for this, and I haven't had a chance to check them out, but I even put flames on them. Yeah, yeah. But these should be very interesting. They're a little faster action. They don't have quite as much backbone, but the fish I'm planning on catching with these are eater size fish. Um, in my area, as you know, we have a under 26 inch, a slot from 26 to 34, and then over 34. And you can't keep anything in the slot. And my opinion of the best eating fish are the smaller ones anyhow. So what I'm looking for are a pound and a half, 2, 3, 4 pounders, anything under 26 inches. And these bobbers, all you have to do is watch them. And if they go zip, zip to one side or they go down, of course, anything they do other than just sit there looking pretty, you probably got a good chance to get them on, to get a fish on it. And we'll be trying, of course, cut shad. That's the number one bait on Lake of the Ozarks. And Truman, we will probably be doing cut bluegill. It works so good for channel cat. I know that the small blues will like it too. Might even try some live bait on them for flatheading. The other thing, I might try some chicken. I never had any success with chicken.
So Josh,
Yeah, that's about par there. That needed.
so this is the part where we now have taken over Catfish Weekly. It's
This is where we have to have that awkward conversation. Dad's starting to talk out of his head, so we're going to have to start looking at a home.
dude. I mean, I literally had to start the paperwork.
Stop it.
He's still got the power. That blast.
Oh,
Oh man!
I bet he heard. I bet he heard everything we were saying too.
I heard everything.
I heard every word.
I took it as long as I could.
Peter finally got him, y'all.
I'm not
Let's
saying
drop
that
those chicken emojis for Lyle.
this went forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And when the chicken craze happened, it was on sale around here, and I bought up a bunch of it. And I vacuum sealed some up with every kind of imaginable. Because at that time, Kevin had come out with a video where they was using green and orange and all different colors. And man, I vacuum sealed this stuff all up in every imaginable, conceivable concoction that you could come up with.
Okay.
And we used it.
I don't even talk about that video because there is no way in God's great earth that them freaking fish don't like chicken with grape Kool-Aid.
we got some of
Still
that.
didn't have-
I never even so much as got a bite. Time after time after time after time, and we tried it. Give it a honest to goodness go. And Dieter kept talking about, oh, you don't need nothing on. Don't need nothing on. Well, hell, it wasn't no better with nothing than it was with all that other crap on it. Finally, we caught a fish on it. And I think it was the red stuff. I don't really know. And we might even have caught 2 or 3 fish on it, but it wasn't nothing like everybody else claims they do. And to be quite honest, I know a lot of these guys are really reputable, but I think a lot of that's photoshopped. I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm not saying they don't catch fish on it, but I don't think they catch the fish they say they do on it, period. But we caught 2 or 3 little dinks about like this.
We haven't
But
had
I
a
may
whole
try
lot
it again. But I just think the fish over here are smarter. They know there's still fish swimming around in our water, and you're just not going to use it for bait and be very successful.
It's hard telling. I mean, there's people around here that
You're telling
I
me
know.
you can't Photoshop one?
swear up and down, but at least never. We don't have that many big fish around here that people are going to catch monsters on it anyway.
But you don't even catch the small ones, do you?
So again, this is strike 2 on the old man. I don't know what's gotten into him tonight.
He's fired up
He
tonight.
is fired up. He's wanting to use chicken for bait. Next thing you know, he's going to come in here and he's going to be like, I went to an all you can eat shrimp buffet, turned around and walked right out.
Just say he didn't like it.
You know I didn't go to no shrimp buffet and turn around and walk out. That's never ever gonna happen.
You know, shrimp is good bait for small channel cat.
Yeah, it is.
It is, and we've actually got some kind of shrimp stuff in a can that didn't have, it was a liquid of some kind, and soaked other stuff in it, and it worked.
I just have a hard time using shrimp because it tastes so good.
I agree 100%. It's really hard for me to use shrimp because I know I can cook that, or somebody can cook it, and I can eat it because I like it.
Oh, look now I'm getting called out by my own co-host over here.
Man,
And we're all about having a good time.
Damn straight.
We are all about having a good time.
But so, how are you going to relate this chicken talk to the bait cooler talk?
he's gonna start,
It's like chicken and dumplings. You just throw it in and let.
I thought I'd try to see if they'd swim around in a bait cooler, and I'd take it to the lake with me that way.
now you could just build a chicken coop.
No. I actually have a rabbit hutch in the backyard, I guess.
I think I saw a video one time where a guy went to go get catfish bait and pulled a chicken out of the chicken coop.
Go edit your video while you're watching.
That's Docker. Yeah.
I think that Dockery is as guilty as anybody, because I've seen a video floating around where he went out and tried to harvest one of Katie's prize chickens, and she would not let him have it.
She made him go in the house.
That's right. Brian, thank you for becoming a new member of our YouTube thing. We appreciate it so much. And if anybody else is interested in joining, at the bottom, there's a place where you can join and be a part of that. Brian, thank you so much. And we like to have
B.
What?
I said, welcome, B.
Absolutely. If you have bullheads in your tank, you can feed them chicken. I'm thinking,
Well, that one.
eat anything. For the people that's not surprisingly up with bullheads, if you look where they live, they'll eat anything. I promise you.
Yeah, they're not real
They're
picky.
not particular. Van, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Van.
Sorry, I got the good. Oh, we're getting bird flu.
But back to the bait tanks. There's some great tanks on the market if you care to put a bait tank on your boat, oval, they're anywhere from, what is it, 14 gallon up to 100 gallons,
Oh yeah.
circular shape with all kinds of insulation in them and pumps and aeration systems and everything under the sun. One thing that I would caution people on, know the limitations of your boat. 8 pounds to a gallon, plus the tank, plus the fish. So if you have 30 gallons, if you only put 20 gallons in it, that's 160 extra pounds of just water.
Yeah.
And depending on where you place that in your boat, it could be devastating to the amount of total weight you're allowed to keep in that. Now, if you have a 20-foot big catfishing rig with a 250 or a 225 motor on the back of it, and it's rated for 12 or 1400 pounds, and you got two guys in there and their equipment, you're good to go. You could probably get away with a 30 or 50, maybe even a 75-gallon tank. I'm not sure you'd ever need one that big, but you could if you wanted to. Now, I had a 30-gallon one, and a guy had told me he was going to fix me up a new one and send it to me. I never got it. I sold the other one, and it was designed to go in the way the one that I built here out of the 10-gallon thing was. We was just going to plumb it into the regular plumbing on the boat to go to a front bait tank that was up there. You just turn a switch on, water runs in, water pumps out with a drain on it that goes right out the back. And that's what we was going to do with it. It actually was a little big for my boat because you had to block one door that would never open as long as that tank was in there. With this 10-gallon one, I won't have that problem. And as long as that pump is pumping or the boat is moving, you'll have fresh water going in and out of this all the time with a circulation pump in the bottom. So it should work pretty well. The only thing I'm concerned with is a plastic bucket like that will get hot on these 100-degree days. And that's where somebody that has room in a cooler for a couple of butter dishes filled full of ice where you could throw one in there, or a half a gallon milk jug, something like that to cool the water off. But if they die, you usually got ice in there in a cooler that you got froze bait in or cut bait in. Just drop them in there in a baggie and you're good to go. Any thoughts?
Definitely get them out of that tank if they die.
Yeah, because they'll kill the rest of them.
They will kill the rest.
Yeah. That is a fact. That is a fact. It doesn't take much of a skim over top, especially if the water's not moving. If you have a skim over the top of that, it'll shut off all oxygen. And the next thing you know, Danny Stone, been a member for 7 months. Thank you, Danny.
You're awesome, Danny.
Been a member for 16 months.
I think that was right about the time I took over as co-host. So maybe I get credit for Danny.
D says, "Quit kicking pops off the screen, but he's going to tell you to go get a switch." That's kind of funny.
Whatever.
Thank you, D.
Bullock saw you like exactly what Lyle was just talking about. That you're talking about your boat is too small for a bait tank. It's just you have to think about the size that you can use on your boat. You're not going to put a big bait tank or anything like that on, the SS J-Dog or whatever it is.
Yeah. The other thing is, you always have to keep in mind one thing that we always have said since the beginning of this show: safety first.
Oh yeah.
Always. Especially if you have inexperienced people in the boat with you or kids. Safety always first. Always. What was that, Chad?
Or even crazy people.
Yeah, like Dockery.
Yeah. I was pointing to this picture. Oh, it's over here.
It's over there. Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll have some emojis before this show's over.
Shad, one of those at-home bait.
Yeah. How long can you reasonably expect to keep shad in one of the at-home bait tanks alive?
As long as you want, as long as you don't mind if they die. But they're if you change the water out and you add some salt, add some non-iodized salt to the water. That'll calm them down. That'll help harden that scale coat on them. As long as you keep that water changed and keep it cool, you can keep shad alive, but they're difficult.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had enough luck getting any of them home alive, let alone keeping them alive at my house.
Very, very seldom do we get. I just throw them on ice when I catch them.
I missed something.
What'd you miss?
I'll get it back up here where we can share it with everyone. Well, or will I?
Oh.
Well, Danny Stone said, Shad is great. Chad is great. Now send me the $5 you promised.
I love Danny Stone.
I seen that and I couldn't go back and highlight it. I don't know why. But yeah, it's kind of funny.
Danny's a pretty funny fella.
Danny, let me know if he sends you that or not, will you?
Pretty funny looking fella. I mean, anyway, so yeah.
If anybody in chat has any questions about bait tanks, whether they be the kind to transport from water to your boat or your home tank, or in your boat tank, or in a home tank, this would be a great time to get them up there so we can try to get them answered. And if we don't have the answers, I know a couple of guys that might be able to help us out so we can get them the correct answers for you, and we'll either send them to you or have them on the next show. And Striper Soup has great tanks.
It's pretty cool. You want algae and stuff to grow in the tank.
Growing in the tank. Wow. Never would have thought about that.
Those guys have a lot of cool videos on their website. If you're interested in watching things about like Danco aerators, different things like that, they've got all kinds of good information. You can go over and watch video after video. You can even go out and watch them throw big, huge shad nets, cast nets, and just drag in unbelievable amounts of bait. So, yeah, they're really good guys. And if you want to buy one that's ready to go, they're probably as good as any on the market. And there's a lot of good ones on the market.
Yeah, you said Danco?
Danco is the piece that goes inside there.
Okay.
Pushes that your pump sucks the air in and it creates the bubbles inside there to where when it's circulating it produces oxygen inside the tank. It's called a Venturi.
Venturi, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
They're in carburetors.
Yeah.
The animal says, I finally found catfish in Missouri. Caught 6 blues Saturday night. 2 12-pounders. Awesome. Congratulations.
Good job, Dan.
Absolutely. Real Ninja 442. Welcome to chat.
What a nice smallmouth from the creek.
He died after a couple hours. Probably because he had run out of oxygen in there. You have to have some way to get oxygen in that tank to keep oxygen in it for them because they've got to have oxygen or they won't survive. And a tank like that sitting still without moving water is not going to have very little oxygen, especially if it's filled out of a well because the well has hardly any oxygen in that water also.
And yeah, that's the thing. The warmer it is, the warmer the water, the less oxygen there's going to be, especially if it's,
Yep.
Just a little bit of water. They're going to eat that oxygen up quick.
That is 100% correct. While they're deciding if there's any more questions, Chad, why don't we give away some Mad Catter's catfishing stuff?
On it, sir.
I thought you might. I still have a couple of these dip bait worms that we'll give away one tonight. And a package of these 8/0 hooks with a line rattle and a 3-way swivel. and a 2.5-inch float.
Oh, if I was on the other screen, I'd time out Shanti.
How'd you do that?
Man,
To enter in to win the giveaway that Lyle is talking about, just enter hashtag MadCatter. What did you say?
We would like to thank Richard Ward for donating this stuff for us to give away. We appreciate it very much, and I know that the people that wins it appreciate it too.
We're starting to get those in there now. We're up to 15 already. We'll let that go, and we will do that drawing here in a few minutes.
John, welcome to chat. I'm not going to try to attempt to pronounce your last name for fear that I'll get it so messed up you'll be mad at me.
Just like I did earlier.
Thank you for joining us tonight in here. And there is some good cats in Mark Twain. I know some guys that fish up there a lot and have great success.
I think I need to make a fall/winter trip over your way. That way I can actually fish them lakes and it not be 102 degrees or.
Yeah, it's just miserable right now. Mark Twain is up by your brother James Dockery's place. No, it's not right by him, but it's fairly close to him. Probably 4 hours or so from me, but I'm within an hour or an hour and a half of Mark Twain, Truman, Pomme de Terre, and Stockton. So you can just pick out the lake you want to fish at, and we can make it happen.
So what you're saying is a week-long trip, I could hit several of those lakes.
let's go. Yeah.
Well, we could hit 3 to 5 days here and hit all the lakes here, and then if you wanted to hit the Missouri or the Mississippi, we'd do that, and that'd leave you one day to go up there and put up with Dockery. Of course, it's not fair to Katie, but James will want you to wait until there's ice on the water so you can wait out there and on the ice with him. And I think if I'd done that, he has a dock where he beats the hell out of the roof all the time. It has a floor in it. Now, if he gets out on the ice and drills me a hole, I could stand on that dock and fish through that hole and probably be all right. I'm not getting out on the ice with him. You might. I mean,
I'm just wanting to see Chad drop his phone down that hole in the ice.
Go in after it. Like you have any freaking room to talk about dropping phones in the water.
I got mine back.
Yours was in a foot of water and it took you a week to get it. Mine was in 35 feet of water.
Yeah,
but he got it.
I went and got mine back, and it was in about 4 feet of water. Thank you very much.
Well, you're not, dude. I've met you. I don't know how many times. You're not short. If you were alive with a doctor, I can understand not wanting to get in, be over your head. But you were tall enough. You could have got in there chest deep and just reached down and grabbed it.
Josh is pretty tall. Josh is probably taller than you are, isn't he?
I think so. I think that Josh is a little bit taller than I am.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to admit it. Like Lyle's not. He's afraid to admit that James Dockery is actually a half-inch taller than he is.
In his dreams. Dockery's not half-inch taller than Caitlin.
Yeah, we've got the video from the Alexa. Alexa told Caitlin that Dockery was only 6 inches tall.
What do you call that? Gnomes when they're that small?
Gnomes, maybe, yeah. Hobbit.
Hobbit.
I have never used chicken hearts, Mr. Real Ninja, but
I think it works.
Probably I've used, I've caught some decent fish on like chicken livers and stuff like that, but I've, for the most part, went over to more, your live type baits or cut baits and stuff like that, and the occasional chicken, or if somebody makes some really goofy rules in a tournament, bacon.
I back when we was kids, when we couldn't dig fishing worms on these hot days, of course they didn't sell them in every store available back in those days. You had to either dig them or you raided your mother's refrigerator and got the chicken livers out and went to the pond, because that's the only thing we knew. That and grasshoppers, all we called them grasshoppers was bluegill and stuff, which was okay. But in those days, didn't know you could cut them up and use them for catfish bait. That was many years ago.
It was.
Yeah. How would you know?
I've seen drawings on stone tablets that had pictures of you doing some fishing.
Well, alrighty then.
Josh made me do it.
Yeah, you guys are big.
That
How
was
many
good.
people we got in our drawings? And
31. It's like you read my mind. I literally just clicked on that.
we'll give it just a second longer, Chad, and let's go ahead and draw that so we can get the other now.
That's cool with me. We'll give it about 10 more seconds, and we're going to spin the first one. If you have not entered it in, enter hashtag MadPatter to get in these drawings.
That's right. And don't forget, after we're done, Mark has the Catfish and Crappie podcast, and he has Bex on there tonight. And if you haven't had the privilege of seeing the show with Bex, you need to tune in tonight. She's a very high energy lady, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had her on a while back here on Catfish Weekly.
Yep.
It was a really good show.
Yeah, well, she's just a great person to visit with and extremely knowledgeable. Catches a lot of fish too.
Right, here we go. Ready? And let's draw this one.
You're right, Mark. I do have a whole lot of sock older than him.
You need new socks.
I do.
Team Snag and Whiskers. Dustin, what's going on? Congratulations.
Heck yeah. Be sure to send me your shipping email address, your shipping address, and I'll get that out for you in the morning.
All right. And just let me know when, Lyle. We'll keep this the same, right? Or we're gonna...
Yeah, just give it about a minute, and
all right, we'll leave this up.
You guys,
we won something. Yes, you did.
You guys got any closing statements or anything you'd like to talk about before we go? Upcoming events or anything?
Josh, I'll let you go first. Age before beauty.
Josh had a great video this last week for those, and it was this week, I know, because I just watched it.
Yeah, this week when it come out. So, that kind of went back to the whole cooler thing, keeping everything cold and keeping your bait fresh. Put a video out Saturday showing how to make supercharged bait tubes. They freeze at a temperature lower than regular ice, keep the cooler cold. They're reusable and they're pretty durable. So go check that out on my channel, The Weekend Angler.
Yep, it was very, very informative.
Oh, my phone's doing the robot thing, Chad, so I'm going to pass it over to you for a second.
All right. Let's see. We got
there we go.
Mark right out this. We got the bait shop Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you go over to Fields to Water and check us out there. We also have Panfish Nation, who just hit 1K over the weekend. So they'll be having their show on Thursday night right after the bait shop at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. God's time for the Panfish Nation show.
And we will probably have an extra giveaway on that one, I'm guessing.
Ooh.
So, reaching 1,000 is a milestone for us. We're very pleased to do that. Can't thank everybody enough for being a part of that. And all of the people like Danny Stone and Brian B. and Haz and Mark and Chad and James Dockery and Josh and all the people that tried to help us get up to 1,000. We can't thank you guys enough. It was awesome. Hey, Michelle, how you doing? But we finally made it now. If we can just get the stuff straightened out. And we will be on right after the bait shop Thursday night at 8 Central Time, which really is God's time.
Very true. Very true.
So why don't how many we got in there now, Josh or Chad?
Gosh, now I look like Josh. 38. Ready to go?
Yeah, if there's nobody else wants in there, let's go ahead and give it away.
Let's spin it around. Spin it around. Yeah. Hey, John Boy's catfishing.
Hey, you know what? That gives me 2 of them. Send me your shipping address. I'll combine the one you already won and this one, and we'll get you going.
Congratulations, John Boys.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for watching Catfish Weekly tonight. We appreciate it very much. Do we have a tip for tonight, Josh?
We do. We do. If we've got just a moment, we'll run through that real quick.
I forgot about it.
I know we kind of got sidetracked.
I was like, spin.
It happens. So let me spin the camera around real quick. We're going to talk about cast nets real quick. Oh, stay up here. That thing tried to fall. Yay. All right. Real quick tonight, guys, because we're running out of time. You buy a cast net. It's usually going to come in a box like this. One of the worst things they could do, but they do that so that they can fit more of them on the truck, save money shipping them. When you pull that out of there, it's going to come wadded up about like that. And even when you undo all the zip ties and everything, that net still needs a little bit of help. And the way that you could get that net freed up and throwing better, where it's going to want to open up, it's not going to fight you, it's not going to tangle up all the time. First thing you're going to need, get your cooler. Doesn't matter what size. You're going to get some hot tap water from the sink. Don't get any hotter than that. Just whatever comes out of the sink is fine. Fill that cooler up about 3/4 of the way. And here's the magic ingredient. Add yourself about 1/2 cup to a cup of liquid fabric softener. Put your hand in there, swish that thing around in that cooler, and open that cast net up, drop it down in there, seal the cooler, let it sit till the next morning. Your cast net's going to open up a whole lot better, and you're not going to have nowhere near the amount of tangles that you usually have.
It'd be a lot softer.
Yes, it will.
It'll be a lot softer. That's a great tip, Josh. Great tip. Thank you so much for that. Right quick, before we leave, I want to tell everybody I bought gas and filled the truck up today for $3.69 a gallon.
Kick him out of here, Chad.
That's only about $1.75 more than it should have been under a previous administration. Thanks, everybody, for watching Catfish. We appreciate having you in here. We'll be back next Monday night with another great tip from Josh and some more BS from Chad and I.
Got to have somebody keep us in line. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a good week, everybody. See y'all.